Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Broku. How are you guys doing today? And so with the recent Black Clover chapter that came out, there was a huge revelation. And yeah, if you haven't read that chapter, then yeah, this title is going to be pretty crazy to you. But yes, in that chapter, it did reveal that what was in, Tetia's belly wasn't just a kid. It was twins. You had the elf that was supposed to take over Yuno's body, but there was another one. And you might wonder, well, why wasn't that person in the elf arc? Well, it's because the other twin of Licht and Tetia survived. In fact, Tetia survived somehow. So it wasn't that Tetia died at the end of this war or this battle against the devil. It wasn't that, the kids died. No, an actual descendant, the son of Licht and Tetia, the nephew or niece of Lumiere, survived. Now, guys, we have to imagine here what this means. Now, this means that somebody who, in my opinion, could probably surpass Licht and Lumiere in terms of power, like in their prime, way surpass them, and that would just be, Licht's own son with Lumiere's sister. They would be a true hybrid, and as we know, hybrids can have multiple magic types. So it could be that this kid had wind and sword magic. And of course, they'd be incredibly powerful, being the son of two powerful people when they're with their blood, and then being a hybrid as well probably will make them, much more powerful. Again, we don't know if this is a boy or girl per se, but this could mean that there's some sort of legendary ancient hero that probably existed within the background of Black Clover, and we have yet to hear about them. And what we do know is that it might be that this person went to Elysia, which is a little city. It's a strong magic region that exists in the Heart Kingdom. This is because the descendants of the son of Licht and Tetia live there. So that is definitely quite interesting, although we don't necessarily know, because it's weird. It's just, when you think about it, why wasn't this brought up by Lord Pachika? She is supposedly nigh omniscient when it comes to the Heart Kingdom, yet there are elves in a city within her kingdom, and one of those elves has demon light magic, which can affect devil magic, and then the other elf has copy magic, so it means he might be able to be arcane. One's a really strong healer, the other one's just a brawler. Still, these elves would be a massive help, and yet they're not brought up. Is this means maybe the Dryad, the tree god that protects that village, maybe makes Lord Pachika blind to that village? I don't know, but that's something that will need to be explained probably at some point. Now, so one thing I find very, very interesting about this potential child of Licht and Tetia, again, we don't know if it's a boy or girl, could be either, but again, I brought up the point earlier, hybrids can have multiple magic types, and generally, just how genetic and magic works in Black Clover is you will either get the same magic type as one of your parents, a combination of the two, or a certain similar variation of said magic. And with that being said, what if this hybrid has wind and sword magic? And if that is the case here, what is this a coincidence that Asta and Yuno, they go on that mission in the dungeon, and there is the Demon Dweller sword there, which is one of Licht's swords, and then there is the Wind Spirit Sylph there, Bell. And now, again, this makes it possible that the unidentified son or daughter of Licht and Tetia had both magic types of wind and sword, and had Bell and the Demon Dweller sword at one point. In fact, this is a perfect way to explain why those swords would be so incredibly scattered, and that could be because, well, Licht's son or daughter survived, and then basically used those swords at some point and became a legendary hero. So, very, very, very crazy stuff going on. Really hope we get a name and a reveal of this person. Could this person still be alive? Honestly, I don't know. We don't know how long elves can live in Black Clover, and it seems like humans have normal lifespans in Black Clover. Now when it comes to Norse mythology, elves generally live quite a long time, and they live quite a long time in other works of fiction where elves are used as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if elves could live for a long ass time, and then being a hybrid elf, they could still potentially be alive at this point of the series, and this person might be a huge, huge help against the Dark Triad and the other devils. One thing I did maybe think about, but although it's not too likely, is that this person, this son or daughter of Licht and Tetia, was the one that stopped the opening of the Tree of Qliphoth a long time ago, when basically what happened is devils were brought into the real world and 90% of the population was wiped out. Now, timeline-wise, that doesn't necessarily add up, because the Heart Queens, they existed up to 1200 years ago, and then the whole issue with Licht Lumiere and Zagred was 500 years ago. If that Qliphoth opening had happened after the death of Licht, it would probably be a bit more of a prominent thing that people know about. People know the story of the Wizard King and how the Wizard King killed the ancient demon. And yet something much worse, as in an army of devils being opened in, and that one isn't talked about. That's why I think that that story is probably even further back in time, and maybe it, or at least not likely at all, that the unidentified son or daughter of Licht and Tetia, the one that survived, was the hero that stopped the whole Qliphoth opening. And so this is just really interesting. There are also other swords within the dungeon. One that I thought just specifically stuck out to me that I've talked about multiple times before is this sword another one of the just crazy items that exist in the Black Clover world that Asa could potentially use, and maybe the unidentified son of Licht and Tetia had used in the past. So that sword is interesting, and it would make sense because the Demon Dweller was already there, and so was Bel. Now, this also made me think of a possible identity for the anti-magic devil. Now, I've talked about in the past with Jack Oates about how it's very likely that elves essentially morph into devils or can become a devil. Maybe there are original devils, but some devils, seemingly, they are of elven origin. Just their body types are somewhat similar. The actual elven ears. You have the fact that if a elf turns into a dark elf, the dark elves look way more demonic and demon or devil-like, and they use demon variations of their magic. We know that there are the apostles of Sephiroth, which are elves, and the mirror or shadow of the Qliphoth, or of the Sephiroth, is the Qliphoth, which is basically 10 devils. If so, the devils are shadows of elves. It makes sense that, well, elves at some point can become devils. And if that is the case, then maybe this son of Licht and Tetia is the anti-magic devil. But then again, it doesn't really make sense. And I'm going to actually probably go and look a bunch into this portion of this theory specifically and try and see if I can actually make up a cogent or a sound theory that is talking about Licht and Tetia, son or daughter, being the anti-magic devil. And but as of right now, I'm just thinking, I don't really know if that would be the case, just because the anti-magic devil has anti-magic, and that seems to be its power. It's not like anti-sword magic, it's anti-magic that, yes, will be imbued into the sword, so those are magic items. Just a regular katana that Yami has can be imbued with magic, so why couldn't the special swords that exist can't be as well? I mean, Asta even did that to Yami's katana as well. So again, doesn't necessarily make sense that the devil or the Licht and Tetia's son or daughter would be the anti-magic devil, although that's what I'm going to look a lot more into because it's a new, incredibly powerful character. Like I said, seems like it's possible, and if not likely, that elves can become devils. And if Licht and Tetia's son or daughter was a half-elf, then maybe they became one at some point, and that is why they are inhibiting that grimoire. But, don't really know, but with, you know, all this being said, it is absolutely incredible and crazy that this new revelation happened. Tetia survived. One of her kids and Licht's kids survived. And let's just talk about how great Tabata's little foreshadowing, how subtle it was back in the Elf arc when it showed those elven kids, those descendants of Licht and Tetia, watching the elven souls leave. And everybody, you know, some people thought, oh no, that was just a mess up, or oh, that's not actually elves, those are just kids with pointy ears. No, that was subtle foreshadowing of what was to come. Now it's to come. Those are the descendants of Licht and Tetia. There were other elves that existed in the Black Clover world, and it's confirmed they live in the Heart Kingdom of Elysia. Now, that being said, that's pretty much it for this video. Just want to talk about this and discuss what it means for this series, that we might get a new, very important, powerful character being introduced. Hell, maybe we kind of finally get that very common but very enjoyable shonen trope of the old man, of the old master. What if this is a, you know, son or daughter of Licht and Tetia, and they are now incredibly old because it's been 500 years. Now maybe elves can live for a long time, but they still age. And maybe it's an incredibly old person. This person has both wind and sword magic. This could be a great arc in the future where we get direct Asta and Yuno chapters. Maybe they'll will have to spar, and this person is the master of both Asta and Yuno, because this person is basically has the connections and then also has both the magic types. Has sword magic while Asta uses swords, and then wind magic and Yuno uses wind. And maybe this person is the old owner of Bell. Maybe they gave up at one point and they just maybe wanted to wander around or journey, and this person had maybe left their swords in that dungeon and left Bell in that dungeon. Don't necessarily know, but maybe this person's dead. Like I said, in fact, it probably already are, because it's been 500 years, but who knows. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the video down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, guys, to check out my personal training website. It's going to be personal trained by me. It's called thehologames.com. I'll leave a link below in the description, and check out my fitness channel as well. But you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...